Are you recording? Okay. All right, guys. So we're here with Chris Jackson from
C&M Carting Solutions.
yeah. So Chris, I'm excited about this because obviously we're dealing with dumpsters all the time, and we kind of met on Facebook briefly, and I said, why don't you come in and let's talk shop.
Yeah,
So let's just start out with how'd you get into it and kind of what your service area is and how does it all work?
sure. So I started this out as kind of a side thing about 2 years ago. I
Okay.
actually worked in the construction rental equipment field,
Mm-hmm.
and I was with them for about 8 years, and I was looking to make a change. I was commuting in and out of the city every day, 5 days a week. I was covering a different borough every day.
Yep.
And I have 2 young kids, so
Mhm.
I wanted to be home.
Yep.
So I initially started out with 2 little dump trailers, and I was just renting them out on the side. And then I decided I really wanted to make a change and be around. So I took a jump, and I went out and I bought a roll-off trailer setup,
Mm-hmm.
and I dove headfirst right into it.
Nice.
Coming from a sales kind of background and knowing contractors and
Mhm.
how they tick, I kind of did boots on the ground and went out and just hit every office I could find until the phone started ringing,
Yeah.
and here we are.
I love it. It's that big jump, especially when you jump from being employed, you got a 9 to 5, you're able to,
Right.
the check comes in and now it's, you move to a small business and you're singing for your supper.
Yep.
And so whereabouts are you located? Kind of what's your service area?
So I live in West Cornwall. We actually just opened up our first office yard area over in Goshen.
Okay.
We service the greater Litchfield County area with our, bread and butter kind of being the northwest corner.
Yep. Gotcha.
Really, we'll go into New York a little bit. We'll touch like Dutchess, Columbia County. We'll touch the lower Berkshires, but
Yep.
the northwest corner is really our go-to spot.
Yeah, gotcha. And is it mostly for, contractors, or are you doing like, homeowners that need like clean outs and stuff, or?
I do a good mix. I do a lot of cleanouts.
Yep.
I do a lot with real estate agents as well.
Yeah.
Dumpsters normally end up going to contractors when I don't need them for my own cleanouts.
Right.
But everyone's got junk and everyone's got something to get rid of, so
Yeah.
it just works.
Especially with realtors, when they're in a transaction for somebody moving, they're moving out. Most of the time, that's when people realize they have a ton of garbage. It's usually the basements and the garages and the.
That's actually how I kind of realized I wanted to get into this, because we moved about 2 years ago up to West Cornwall. We were on the New Milford-Sherman border before that, and we hit the market right, and it was time to go, and realized where did all this stuff come from and what do I do with it? So I had to quickly figure something out, and the idea was there, and
Right.
it was born.
So what do you have for dumpsters? What's the ones that you use the most for the clean outs usually?
So I have 10, 12, 15, and 20 yarders at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting some 25s in,
Mm-hmm.
but with bigger dumpsters come bigger trucks and
Yep.
and everything that goes along with it. So we're trying to grow efficiently.
Yeah, gotcha. And growing a business is tough. Like it's you have to. You get out there, you market, you do something like this, like the podcast. You get yourself out there, and then you don't know how much demand is all of this going to come.
Right.
And when the demand comes, you have to know, is this demand going to continue so I can get another truck, maybe another driver,
Right.
another few cans, or did I like buy too many of them too quickly and I don't have the clientele yet?
Absolutely. And there is nothing worse than having equipment sitting in
Right.
the yard, because if it's sitting, it's not making money.
And what people don't realize is that it's not necessarily not making money, it's also costing you.
Correct.
So when it's sitting there, when people come in here and you see all the nice red trucks. Well, that's a lot of payments right there.
That's right.
So it's not so glamorous when you see the other side of it. It's just a lot of payments, a lot of insurance.
Yep.
So that's good. I mean, sounds like you got a nice little fleet, and you know, it's about turning those over, right? Kind of
Right.
getting those
It's about how many times you can turn it over in a month span.
right.
It's all about touches. It's same. I equivalent it to the construction rental market
Mhm.
that I was in previously.
Yep.
How many times can you turn that piece of equipment
Yep.
and not see it in the yard? Because
Yeah.
if everything comes back, it's a problem.
Um, yeah, and that's why you see the guys with the old dumpsters that are really all beat up, and they just love them because everything's been paid off.
That's right.
You know.
That's right. For us, we try to buy newer stuff and refurbish as much as we can
Yeah.
to keep things cost effective. Obviously, one for us,
Right.
because the lower overhead helps,
Yeah.
and two, we can kind of pass the savings on to the customers as well.
Yeah.
And everyone wins at that point.
Gotcha. Well, where do you guys end up? What's the transfer station that do you bring? Is there one up? There's got.
So I take probably 95% of my stuff to Alberta and Torrington.
Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah,
they're they're still family owned. The
Yeah.
transfer station is still family owned,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they've helped me out.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
We use them. Well, we also have Cherry Hill right down the street.
Yep.
Here.
Absolutely.
So there we bring our dump trailer that over there, but
It's all about convenience at that point.
Yeah.
You don't want to spend 2 hours
Right.
making a dump run
right.
when you can turn it.
Right.
quicker.
Even if you save, it's still you got to think about the cost, your gas, the driver,
Yep.
cost, a lot of things. So somebody, is there any calculations that you kind of can help people if they're thinking about they need a dumpster but they don't know what size?
Yeah. So people, I always ask the question, what are you looking to do?
Right.
Because there's obviously some knows what you can put in a dumpster,
Mhm.
and I like to give people that up front. But at the same time, I ask them the square footage of the house. Are you doing a garage? Are you doing your basement? And the most common dumpster that people use when they're kind of cleaning up their house is like 15 yard.
Mhm.
Everyone thinks a 30 yard because that's the most common thing out there.
Right.
Way overkill for most
Yeah.
homeowners.
And what are the no's that what can you not put in the dumpster?
So, obviously, anything flammable is definitely frowned upon
Yeah.
because you don't want anything catching on fire.
Yeah.
Paint. You can throw tires in there, but tires cost money to get rid of.
Right.
Same with mattresses and box springs.
Yep.
And really no batteries. Everything else is kind of fair game in there.
Right. Yeah, people will try to hide stuff in there.
It happens all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll dump the load out and then you'll look at the bottom half of the pile and it's tires and paint
Yeah.
cans. I'm like, oh, come
Yeah.
on.
They think they can hide it underneath, but they don't realize it's going to get dumped, and we're going to see what's underneath it all.
Exactly.
So 25 yard is usually what, or 15 to 20 yard is usually.
Is ideal for most homeowners for
Yeah.
what they need.
And what about weight? Weight's important too, right?
Yes, definitely. So I include, depending on what size dumpster, I include weight in the price.
Mm-hmm.
So you know exactly what you're getting. There's no extra hidden fees in there
Right.
unless you're going over and obviously putting in things that
Yeah.
say there's a sticker right on the dumpster what not to put in there, and
Right.
obviously if those go in,
Yeah.
there's no way around that. But
Yeah, because if you kind of fill it up with the first quarter of it with concrete, you're going to be overweight, and you're going to be like,
Big
well,
time.
the dumpster's not full.
Right.
Why are you charging me more? Well, there's
Yeah.
a weight thing.
yeah, when you put that kind of weight in something, that's when you see the pictures of the trucks doing the wheelies when you're picking them up, and
Mhm.
that's no fun for anybody either.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot of wear and tear.
Or you can pull it. There you go, and just pull it forward closer. Yeah. Yeah. So what do you? So as a small business, how have you found it to get your name out there? What's been successful?
So for me, a lot of it is word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Word of mouth is huge. Doing the right thing by customers.
Yeah.
Everything is a customer service
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. If you do the right thing by people, they're
Right.
going to tell their friends.
Yeah.
I go out there, I market, I drop business cards wherever I can.
Mm-hmm.
I put out yard signs on jobs.
Yep.
And I ask the customers, hey, can I leave this here? Because if
Right.
you leave it on the customer's property, it's not going to get picked up, just like if you leave it on the side of the road somewhere.
Right.
But asking for referrals is big.
Yeah. Fixing the lawn afterwards.
Yeah.
Because it's going to happen. Even the
it's-
good guys still driving the lawn.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? You're more likely to get a referral out of somebody if you ask for it.
Yeah.
The same thing with the review. If you
Yeah.
ask someone for a review, you're more likely to get it.
Yeah.
If now, vice versa, if you do the wrong thing,
Right.
they'll tell 10 people
Oh, yeah.
before they
yeah.
tell.
They're going to
you know.
jump right on there. They're going to jump
you
on
know.
the Facebook groups. And, you know.
Exactly. So we're very customer service oriented.
Yeah.
Because I like to put myself in their shoes. How would you feel if this was happening to you? You know.
And it's tough. I mean, for you guys, I mean, you know, you're trying to get a big truck and sometimes it's a little driveway that's got the stone wall on one side, the flower bed on the other side.
Yeah, there's no good way around it, but
Yeah.
you know, you do the best you can and be careful, and you know, if something happens, you just got to be upfront about it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Do you find does social media help you?
Big time.
Yeah.
Especially when I was starting out.
Mm-hmm.
I'd post my services. You know, I'd see what days I could post in what groups,
Mm-hmm.
and every week I would post in them.
Yeah.
And just brand awareness.
Yeah.
And just build off of that.
Because you have to. The thing is with a business, I think like yours, it's the more quicker you can be top of mind, because when they need a dumpster, it's kind of they look around, and if you pop up, boom, they're gonna, you know.
Exactly. It's availability too.
Yeah.
You know, how quick can you get it to me?
Yeah.
And you know, that was a hard thing for me when I was starting out. How quick can you get to me? Well, you know, I'm trying to schedule and, you know, do this efficiently, but everyone's got their stuff and it's always last minute, and they need it right now.
Do you have a limit on how long they can keep it?
It depends on the season.
Yeah.
So winter is typically a slower season for everybody across the board.
Mm-hmm.
In the winter, I give a grace period because I don't want to pick it up and I don't want to sit on it either.
Yeah.
But normally my typical time for a residential is a week.
Yep.
And then if they need it longer, then it's, you know, a couple bucks a day or whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, usually by then, hopefully they've kind of thrown their stuff in there.
Yeah, I tell people, I'm like, you know, prepare accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, figure out what you kind of want to get rid of. This way, when I get it there, you can fill it up as quick as possible. And then if you get it done quicker, I can give you a little bit of a break on it anyway.
Yeah.
Save you some money. I can get it back out quicker, and it's a win for everybody.
Mm. Yeah. So what's your you know, social media has done well for us too. That's kind of why we've pushed it. But we're coming into this new year. Are you guys planning on kind of trying to expand even further, get some more?
We are.
Yeah.
So I'm actually looking to bring 2 to 3 guys on this year. I'm looking to get a really second full-time crew going.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of take back some of my own time.
Yeah.
So I can get out there and I can bid more jobs, and I can actually go out and grab the business, as opposed to being stuck on the truck every day.
Yeah, I got
Which is hard for any business owner. I mean, you wear so many hats.
Yeah.
And growth is a scary thing, but it needs to happen, because if you're not growing,
yeah,
you
you're dying.
Exactly.
it's yeah. It's interesting. I mean, and it's fun too. You know, when you add employees and stuff, and then now it gets a little bit more stressful, because now you need clients.
Yeah.
Keep these guys busy, because now they got to feed their family.
That's right. It's one of those things where you're never going to have everything at the same time. You're never going to have all the work you need to have these guys going. You're never going to have all the guys you need for the jobs at the same time.
Yeah.
It's playing the gas and clutch game.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
just kind of.
And you're constantly feathering it back and forth, figuring out, okay, I need more marketing so that I can get my name out more. And now I have too many, and you know, I'm turning stuff away. And I could have, if I had a couple more cans, that would be good. Right. Where do you buy your can? Where do they? Is there?
So they're manufacturers all over the place.
Okay.
You know, the price of cans is outrageous right now, especially after, you know, all the metal price jumps and stuff.
Yeah.
But I buy my stuff from Rudco in New Jersey.
Okay.
You know, they've they've kind of taken good care of me.
Right.
Their pricing was right, and their turnaround time was pretty good.
And it seems like there's kind of is there just a standard design? Or I mean, I think we've seen a few different types, but is there?
I mean, there's you have the square bottoms. You
Right.
have the square bottoms are good for more bulky stuff. I've found.
Yep.
I've just found this from kind of when I'm doing clean outs because I can pack the corners,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to the tub style, which are great for construction debris because everything slides out
Yeah.
nice. But that's kind of what I found are the two most common.
Yeah.
I run a hook truck, so
Gotcha.
I like the square bottoms.
Right. Right.
You know, give the customers a little more bang for their buck that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like our guys on the site, they better pack the dumpster right.
That's
Get
right.
Every last
That's
little.
right. It's a giant game of Tetris.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when you have construction material and the 2x4s are going every different direction. Like it's
Exactly. If you just toss them in and there's that gap, you're losing that whole space
Yeah.
underneath it.
Yeah.
They're just gonna pack on top.
And then because a lot of the cost is getting it out there and driving it
Right.
in and out. So it's good. But yeah, dude, I think you're in a good industry. I mean, people have got to throw stuff away, and I think you have the other part of the industry is trying to make people buy stuff.
Right.
And it's
Exactly. It's there's always garbage.
Yeah.
There's always garbage no matter what. It's the kind of culture we live in.
Mm-hmm.
People will just buy stuff and then just throw the stuff
Yeah.
away. It's nothing is really made to last anymore.
No, and even like with even remodeling, we do kitchens and bathrooms and stuff, and it's like, I mean, I don't even want to say this on here. We've got a couple projects that we're doing, and we don't need to be doing them.
Right.
Like this stuff's nice. I'm like, I'm gonna put this in my house,
That's
and
right.
it's like we're ripping it out, and it's just because it's kind of like, the color's a little dated. And you're
Exactly.
like, I don't know. I mean, we're happy to do it. I mean, we're thankful for the business, but
Right. And that's how it is. Like when I do these clean outs at these places, not every day is pretty.
right,
Some days, you're working in, the hoarder houses, and
Yeah.
other days you're working in multi-million-dollar homes where they just have stuff that they don't want anymore. And
Yeah.
you look at it, you're like, well, this isn't garbage.
Yeah.
This is nice.
yeah.
So,
So do you do the do you have the service on top of the dumpsters where you actually come in and pull the stuff out?
yeah, yeah, we call it our white glove service.
Okay.
So we'll bring the dumpster
Mm-hmm.
and we fill it.
That's
we
awesome.
we just kind of price by volume is what we do, and the
Mhm.
dumpster's included in the price.
Wow. Okay.
So it's
That's a cool service for sure, because I think people need to get rid of the stuff, but if somebody moving and maybe they're downsizing or they're older,
Right.
All that stuff, you can only ask so many favors from your family, and then they're like,
that's right. It's time consuming,
yeah,
and a lot of people don't have time to do it. They just
Right.
want it done.
right. And
Obviously, a dumpster is a cheaper option, but
right,
when you need a little
Yeah.
muscle and
yeah,
you don't want to pick through everything.
right.
There's other ways to do it too.
So do you try to do any kind of recycling with all that stuff though?
I do. So there's way too much stuff. Obviously, seeing this every day that goes to a landfill that shouldn't.
Mhm.
We try to repurpose, recycle before anything goes to a landfill.
Yeah.
So we separate out the metal.
Yep.
We put that aside, and then we have a separate metal dumpster that we load up, and when that's full, we take it. And then
Yep.
if there's good items, we'll normally donate them to like a Goodwill
Oh, nice.
or a Habitat for
good.
Humanity or something like that. Someone who can really reuse the stuff,
Right.
where it's going to go to for a good purpose.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, it's there's a lot of good stuff out there. I mean, when we look on the wood side, this old furniture people don't like, but it's like all solid wood instead of compared to
That's right.
the particle board that we use today.
Yeah, like I said, they don't build stuff like they used to.
No.
Like I grew up, my dad, he did antique furniture restoration.
Oh, nice.
So I had a really good feel for what was actual
Mhm.
nice
Yeah.
stuff. I'll pull drawers out, and I'll look at the joints,
Yeah.
and it's just
Yeah.
it's cool.
Everything's kind of. Well, it's all meant to be thrown away back in the to the dumpster.
that's right.
So I think that's a good. I want to say you stand apart for having that kind of service. We'll bring the dumpster. We're going to clean everything out for you. I think that's smart, and I think it's especially staying in the residential side.
Right.
You know, you're working with realtors too. That's
Yeah, real estate agents, property managers, just
Yeah.
anyone who's going to have that contact with someone.
yeah.
Senior housing, but it's like you think about anywhere you go, someone's going to have a need
Right.
for something like that who may not be able to do it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it all comes back to being a customer service based business
Yep.
where we're here to help.
Yep.
At the end of the day, providing a service,
Right.
and we want to help you.
Yeah. I love it. So big year 2024, trying to bring in some more guys. You got to get some more cans. You're going to buy some new trucks.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
We'll see how the year goes.
Yeah.
Definitely looking for at least one more truck this year. But once again, it's all how the market fluctuates.
Yeah. What do you feel like it's competitive? Are you who's up in that corner? I feel like there's
As far as dumpsters,
Yeah.
USA
Yeah.
is the big name kind of
Okay.
everywhere.
yeah.
They're really up there.
Yeah, they've got they own the transfer station down in
Yeah, they've won. Oh, they have one up in Winstead.
okay.
They have one out in Waterbury. They have
Right.
They have a
Yeah,
couple.
The Waterbury, yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're a big name,
Yeah.
obviously. Just like everybody else, they get busy first, and
Yeah.
and then everyone kind of rides the coattail. But
Yeah, well, they have the marketing too, and you know,
Right.
they're a little bit more buying power because they have control of the actually getting getting rid of the stuff. Because usually, what most of the stuff gets on a train at some point, no?
it all depends where.
Yeah.
I know down in Danbury, you have like Oak Ridge and them, and they
Mhm.
run train cars right through the yard.
Right.
As opposed to some guys who are more landlocked, they tractor trailer it out,
Yeah.
and it goes to a landfill or burn plant or wherever it is.
Yeah, gotcha. I know Cherry Hill over here has a train car that they get it out. A lot of the local guys. I want to say a lot of local guys come and dump over here at Cherry Hill.
Yeah.
They're
a pretty big outfit over here.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, and
they're
we
definitely busy.
bring there. I mean, there's just the building. People don't realize when we bring our dump trailer, it's they're running a lot of garbage out of there,
A lot.
and then they've got this big like Caterpillar in the inside. It's driving up
just
and
a
over.
dozer just driving over the
just
top of the
driving-
pass. It's
just to like break it apart.
and it's cool. When I was first starting out, I had a crew cab pickup when I was
Mhm.
pulling the dump trailers, and
Yeah.
I'd bring one of my kids with me,
Yeah.
and they would just be in awe,
Yeah.
because of the machines, and they're just
Yeah.
watching, and
Yeah.
they thought it was the coolest thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
it was fun.
Have you gotten into any kind of I'm trying to think. Are you in any disposal like asbestos and stuff? Do you because that's
So that
Lead
is
paint.
specialized.
Yeah.
I actually do have a certification
okay.
in hazmat
Okay.
because of the construction business I was in before.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my biggest customers were demolition and abatement.
Yeah.
So they actually got me into one of their classes, and I have my Whooper and all that
Okay.
fun stuff
Nice.
goes along with it. I don't advertise that I do it very often,
Yeah.
but it's there.
Because you have to where does it go? It goes upstate New York somewhere.
It goes upstate.
Yeah. Wherever it goes.
Wherever it goes, it's just
Yeah.
it's one of those things
Yeah.
where
It's gonna cost you a fortune. And you don't know where it goes.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know, it's
whatever-
going on the side
whatever-
of the road up
yeah,
there.
what they're burying it or whatever they're
Yeah,
doing up there.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, like because we we'll run into stuff where we have to we just bring in an abatement company, and
Right.
there's a lot of like, yeah, I mean I don't. It's not that I don't discredit it. I think it's important. You got to keep people's health, but we're kind of just putting stuff in plastic bags and putting red tape on it, and then
Exactly.
and then paying.
it's the same thing with scraping the lead paint off the walls.
Yeah,
You putting the
yeah.
chips in the bags, and then
Yeah, yeah. But it's interesting stuff to understand that. Well, what else do you got? What else what do people maybe not know about dumpsters and in the
so
business?
I mean, as far as dumpsters go, it's kind of straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
You got a big metal can, the door opens, you put your stuff in it, and we
Mhm.
haul it away. A lot of people don't know, and I found this is the actual expenses it is to get rid of the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
People think that you're dropping something, and say you charge for a round number, say it's $500.
Yep.
They think you're putting $500 in your pocket.
Right.
No, there's costs that are associated with everything. You have dump fees, gas, diesel, depending on what truck you're in. You got to pay your guys,
Yep.
insurance. It's like anything else. It's the cost of doing business, and
Yeah, if you get $10 at the end of the day, you're doing okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then
That's why with the white glove service,
Yeah.
I kind of include everything. All right, this is your price. This is what it is.
Right.
We take care of it.
Right.
And you don't even have to think about it anymore.
Yeah.
We got the dump fees on it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, people don't. My dumpster's overweight, and you get charged a couple $100 more, and you're like, well, it costs you a couple $100 more. You're trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, we're not making that money.
Right.
We're just we're covering cost at that point.
Right.
Another thing people I don't think they know is when there's the max load line,
Mm-hmm.
it's there for a reason.
Yeah.
Because if it's not tarped and that comes out on the road, it's a hefty fine.
Yeah.
So
That's the other thing. I mean, your truck's got to they have to be DOT.
Everything is DOT.
Yeah.
Commercial auto.
Yeah.
You're looking at inspections,
all that.
Tires.
Right.
Yeah,
and it's not $50 for a tire for your little Prius.
No, you're looking at like $300 plus a tire.
Yeah.
For these trucks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's if you get a nail, it hurts.
Right. And you're around nails all day long.
Just trying to dodge them as you're driving through the landfill.
Yeah, especially when you go to the transfer stations. It's like
it's not a if, it's a when.
Yeah, for sure. Any tips on loading the dumpster for the homeowners?
Yeah. So put the bulky stuff on the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
and then put the smaller stuff over the top. This way, you really fill your nooks and crannies.
Right.
That's the best advice I can give. I see so many people who throw the bigger stuff on top. Yeah. And they're leaving, a couch-sized gap.
Yeah.
So that's the best thing you could do.
Do you open up the back door and bring stuff in the back, or is?
Yeah. So that's the best. You open the back door. I leave it open when I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
When it gets to about 3/4 full.
Right.
When it starts to slope a little bit.
Yep.
Shut the door and then kind of pack the rest in right over the side.
Yeah. Make sure you close the door.
Yes.
Before it gets too full.
Once it's too full, you're not.
You're not.
You're not getting close at that point.
Yeah. What is what I saw the other day was there was this service. They'd come around and it basically would pack the dumpsters. What is your thought on that?
Everyone's got a different speculation on that in the dumpster world. It can damage the can.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're getting more space.
Right.
Now, with the more space comes more weight.
Right.
Because now you can pack double the amount you should have in that dumpster. Mm-hmm. So for the $200 that it cost you to pack that down, you might be paying $400 in overage fees. Right. So just you play it accordingly.
Yeah. I think it really have to be depending on what you're putting in it, because when we do a demo of, say, like an older house and it's a bunch of plaster and lath and stuff, I mean, you might get quarter way through the dumpster and you're already overweight, let alone trying to pack that down more,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I did a interior demo for a guy.
Mm-hmm.
I brought the can and I just and it was a plaster lath, and it was, those things were heavy. Yeah. Those things were heavy. It was a rude awakening for sure.
Mm-hmm.
My guys definitely felt it carrying those the brute cans out the door.
Oh yeah,
so.
Yeah. You put 5-6 inches of on the bottom of a garbage can. That's about it.
That's all you can do. You're not picking out
with it. Yeah. And it's dusty. I don't miss those days.
No,
So yeah, so I agree. I think, but I've it's a new business. I feel like it's kind of sexy. They go around and they're going to compact the dumpsters, but I think most of the time, construction materials, it's probably not worth it.
No. And if it's construction materials, there's normally a guy on site with an excavator packing it down anyway.
Right. Yeah.
You know. Yeah. But when you're shredding the stuff,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
it gets a little dicey.
Yeah.
You know, big metal spiky ball rolling
Right.
around the dumpster is
Right. Yeah. That's not. And then I wonder who the liability, because it's some random company that they've hired to come
Right.
in on your can.
At the end of the day, the liability falls back on the customer.
Yeah, because they hired, and now if they have to, you got to go after them to say, hey, I need this fixed because you brought a
Right.
spiky thing in.
Yeah, exactly. It fall under the same liability if they put flammable material
Right.
in there and the dumpster caught on fire.
Right.
You know, it's it weakens the welds. It weakens
Yeah.
the integrity of the can.
What do you what happens? I see this occasionally. You houses that are, well, up in your area. I mean, everything is large lots and wooded. But what happens if people fill it with like landscape stuff? Can that go somewhere separate to a different?
Yeah. So there's certain places they'll take brush and all that.
Mhm.
They normally ask that it be specific and
Right.
not mixed.
Yeah.
But stumps and stuff like that you can take over to Supreme.
Yep.
Supreme Industries will take that,
Mhm.
or Stockyard over
Yep.
in Torrington over there. They have a pretty good spot back there, and they take it by the yard.
Gotcha. And then they can kind of grind it up or.
They'll
Do whatever they
grind
do.
it and they resell for mulch.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
So does that alter the price, or if you're gonna put clean?
It
know.
does. Once again, it's one of those things where you ask kind of what's going in before.
Right.
Dirt gets heavy.
Yeah.
Dirt
Right,
gets heavy.
right.
So you gotta weigh the wear and tear factor on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you look at the disposal cost as well, and if it's cheaper to dispose by the yard because it's natural material,
Mm-hmm.
we pass that along a little bit.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So
Yeah, I think in your area, not as much. I mean, when people are in, say Waterbury, you've got a quarter of an acre.
Right.
You're trying to clean up your gardens. Where do you put it? If the town doesn't take it, you need.
right, you need someone to come pick it up.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we did pretty well for dumpsters. We did 30 minutes. I
Yeah.
think it's interesting. People don't realize that even something that would seem simple, there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
And as a business owner, there's a lot to it too. I mean, I would imagine, the maintenance on the trucks.
It's a constant maintenance on the truck
Yeah.
because you're hauling heavy.
Right.
A lot of hydraulics involved.
Yep.
Brakes.
Yep.
Tires with nails.
Yep.
And you got to make sure those trucks are up to snuff
Right.
because the trucks break down with a can on the back.
Yeah. You're not calling the local
No,
tow truck.
no, you're not.
Yeah.
You're calling a heavy wrecker, and those,
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
again, those
Yeah.
are expensive
Yeah.
too. So it's all
They don't come cheap.
no.
Who's the big heavy record? Is it? There's one in Torrington, right?
Yeah, Murley.
Murley. Yeah.
He's helped me out a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah. He's helped me out a couple times too with my tractor.
Yeah, was it Don and Darren over there?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
pretty solid guys.
So you cover the the Litchfield County up into, you get up into like the Salisbury,
Yep.
Canaan area.
Yep,
and-
I cover all that, and then the lower Berkshires,
Yeah.
kind of Ashley Falls up in that general
yeah.
area.
Gotcha.
Not too far, or just doesn't make sense.
Right.
But
Right.
as long as it makes sense, we'll go there. And especially for people we work with commonly,
Yeah.
we kind of expand our radius to
Yeah.
help them out.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, Chris, this was a lot of fun. I hope people got a little understanding of the dumpsters, and I think it's all interesting stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
It's something different every day.
Yeah. Love it. Awesome.